Civilization or Barbarism, an Authentic Anthropology by Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop. The same papyrus mentions the break in relations between Egypt and the Mediterranean coast and Crete, using the term Keftu for Crete, which is specific to literature of the 18th dynasty to designate the Cretans. The men will not sail toward Byblos today. What will we do to obtain cedar wood for our mummies, and the burial of priests, and oil from faraway Crete to embalm the dignitaries? These products, no longer come. What an important thing it is that the oasis people bring their spices during the feast. Gardiner, 1909. The sun is veiled and does not shine visibly in the eyes of men. No one can live when the sun is covered by clouds. God Himself has abandoned men. If the sun shines, it is just for 1 hour. No one knows when it is noon. One cannot discern one's own shadow. He, Ra, is in the sky, looking like the moon. Gardiner, 1914. Greater certainty about the destructive effect of the Minoan tidal wave of the eastern coast of the Mediterranean was provided by the archaeological discoveries in Syria. The port and half of the town of Ugarit were destroyed around 1400 BCE. Schaeffer, 1936, suggested that this destruction could have been due to a tidal wave. A Phoenician poem found in the library of Ugarit speaks of a destruction provoked by tempest and a tidal wave. Desaulles, 1935, and Schaeffer suggest that the poem refers to the same event that destroyed the port of Ugarit. Different dates have been proposed for the biblical Exodus, the end of the reign of Thutmose III, 1450 BCE, and during the reign of Ramses II, 1292 to 1225 BCE. Breasted, who translated Akhenaten's hymn to the sun, noted that this hymn and Psalm 104 in the Bible show a great similarity of form and content. The similitude between the events described in the Egyptian text Griffith 1890, Gardiner 1909-1914, and epidemics described in the Old Testament have already been pointed out by several historians. Breasted, 1951, concluded that specimens of this remarkable category of Egyptian literature can be found up to the first centuries of the Christian era, and we cannot resist the conclusion that they, in both form and substance, inspired the Hebrew prophets in creation of the messianic prophecies. Bennett, 1963, was the first to suggest that the Egyptian calamities might have been a consequence of the Minoan eruption of Santorini Gal- Gallipolis. Thinks that the eruption took place during the summer when the northeastern high altitude winds predominate, transporting dust from the island toward Egypt. The biblical name of Crete is Kaftur, which is divisibly derives from the Egyptian Keftu, and the Cretans were called Philistines. Three biblical chapters evoke the destruction of the Minoan Crete, and one of them, Amos, shows that the exodus of the contemporaneous with destruction, therefore with the eruption. In fact, it came later. Did I not bring up Israel from the land of Egypt, and the Philistines, and Caphtor, and the Syrians from Ker? Amos 9:7, written in the 9th century BCE. A day of wrath is that day, a day of distress and anguish, a day of ruin and devastation, a day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and thickness and darkness. And I will bring distress on men, so that they shall walk like the blind. Land of the Philistines, I will destroy you till no inhabitant is left. Zephaniah 1:15-17 and 2.5, written in the 7th century BCE. Behold, the waters are rising out of the north. They shall overflow the land and all that fills it, because of the day that is coming to destroy all the Philistines. For the Lord is destroying the Philistines, the remnants of the coastline of Caphtor. Jeremiah 47:2-4, written in the 6th century BCE. The eruption of Santorini had an impact on Greek mythology and legends. The long-term meteorological changes that accompanied it, affecting the aspect of the sun and the moon, must have given a supernatural character in the eyes of witnesses, who would never have understood the exact nature of the event, which thus remained enshrouded in mythology. Deucalion and Pariah, the mythological king and queen of Thessaly, ancestors of the Hellenic race, are the only survivors of the great flood provoked by Zeus. They sailed in a boat for 9 days until they landed on Mount Parnassus. Myers 1930 attributed an age of 1,436 years to the flood of Deucalion and Gallipolis. 1960-1963 established a correlation between this flood and the eruption of Santorini. And we'll stop right there and continue back off with civilization or barbarism. I'm Uriel. Sorry.